In this video, we will demonstrate the user interface controls found in the Resonate library by Evelyn Glennie. This video in particular will focus on the grid interface. Starting in the top left corner of the plugin, we have the LED light, which indicates if the samples are still loading or fully loaded. This should be solid green before you hit play. To the right of this is the CPU meter, which indicates how hard the processor on your machine is working. Next along is the disk meter, which indicates how hard the disk we are streaming the samples from is working. Next we have the memory meter, which tells us how much sample content has been preloaded into RAM. The voices meter shows us the number of audio threads being streamed at any point. Next we have the refresh icon. Clicking on this will refresh the individual plugin instance, whilst right-clicking will allow you to choose refresh all loaded instances of this plugin in your project, among other options. This is useful for hanging or stuck Midi notes, or for instances of the plugin that have not fully loaded their samples. To the right of this, we have the mode switching option, which is where we can choose between the standard interface view and the grid view. Next, we have the Midi channel selector. This defaults to any, but you can choose a specific channel for this plugin using the drop-down. Next are the tuning and panning controls, as well as the master volume control for the output of the plugin. Next along we have the two settings for the library. Under the ellipsis we have the settings that will be applied on a per patch basis, and under the cogwheel, the global settings that will be applied to the entire library. More information on these settings can be found in the user manual. The plugin window is divided into a top half and a bottom half. Clicking on the inward-facing arrows in the top right will collapse the plugin window, leaving only the top half visible. In the top half, starting at the top, there is a drop-down menu that contains the presets available for this library. These can be filtered on the left using these group or instrument buttons, or you can apply styles to your favorites and filter via starred. Once you've located the patch you wish to use, click on the patch name and then on load. Beneath the preset browser you will find two faders and a knob, which is sometimes referred to as an O. The leftmost fader is the expression control, which controls the level of the selected technique. The second fader is the dynamics fader. This adjusts the overall dynamics of the rolls and loops within this library. Clicking on the center of the knob will reveal further controls available for this patch. In this particular interface for the library, the controls are reverb, tape saturation, tape gain, tape warmth, tape high frequency roll-off, and delay. In the bottom half of the plugin window, in this first view, is the grid section. In the center of the grid, we can see what looks like a pegboard. Along the bottom, we can see different note centers such as G2, G#2, A2, and so on. On the left-hand Y-axis, we can see the different categories of technique and different note values within those categories. This is scrollable, so you can identify the different categories from Thunder B down to low hits. Each row, apart from the first row for each category which remains unwarped, pertains to a different warped signal that particular category has been processed with. You can read more on these signals in the user manual. You can assign keys to different sounds within the grid by clicking on the circles or pegs here. The different technique categories are represented with different colors. Assigning these to a different note center will display this color on the keyboard below, so it's easy to see the assignments that have been made. You can assign all of the note centers to a single category or technique by holding down Control or Command and clicking on any one of the notes. This will assign everything to one row or one note value within the technique. You can also click on one note and holding down the Shift key, click on another, and this will draw a straight line between the two. Holding Shift and clicking elsewhere will move the line accordingly. As well as manually choosing the techniques we would like to hear, we can also randomize them. Clicking Feeling Lucky will assign them completely at random. You can also select curated kits made from the main categories. We can also choose to randomize using only the visible techniques. So if we scroll to change these and click on visible, you will see it only assigns pegs to those techniques in view. If we choose walk, this will randomize up or down a step from the currently assigned techniques. To the right of the grid are a series of checkboxes which allow you to choose whether or not the note value will be sent to the effects in the next page. And we can also adjust the volume and pan for the specific rows. So if you think a particular row or technique is a little loud, this can be adjusted in comparison with everything else. The Effects tab reveals the effects controls available for this particular preset, which are also available under the knob above. Here, Reverb controls the amount of sends to the convolution reverb, and the reverb is switchable in the impulse response selector here below. Tape saturation adjusts the amount of tape saturation. Tape gain controls the amount of additional gain on the tape saturated signal. Tape warmth controls the level of warmth on the tape saturator. Tape high frequency roll-off controls the point at which high frequencies are slightly attenuated. And delay controls the amount of signal sent to the delay effect. At the very bottom of the plugin window is the piano roll. The illuminated keys show the playable range for the selected patch and technique, and as we've previously seen, these are also color-coded to show which of the different technique categories from the grid have been assigned to that particular note. So that's your basic overview of the Resonate Grid Interface plugin window. If you have any questions or need any help, please do reach out to us at spitfireaudio.com/support.
Thanks for watching Spitfire Clips. Let us know if it was too long, too short, too fast or too slow in the comments down below. Hit like if we answered your question and subscribe for more clips, tips, tricks and exclusive Spitfire content.